Jan Ślewiński and you're watching TVP World Talks, where every word matters. According to a report prepared by an association of human rights groups, the phenomenon of illegal pushbacks in Europe is on the rise, with Bulgaria, Greece and Poland named as the three countries with most cases of this controversial practice. Yet Poland's case is also unusual, as along with the Baltic states, it has fallen victim to migration that has been weaponized by the Lukashenko regime in Belarus, something the European Union was quick to recognize as hybrid warfare. So, how does one balance security concerns and the rights of asylum seekers in this complex and rapidly shifting world of today? Joining us now is Poszytek, human rights defender and lawyer. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Hello, everyone.
So let's talk about the report first. What does it tell us about the situation, the statistics, and in particular the so-called principle of non-refoulement?
Well, the report shows that the pushbacks, so-called pushbacks, are becoming a systematic practice in the EU states. And many NGOs were active in collecting data to the report. One of them was We Are Monitoring from Poland. And it is an organization that has been present at the Polish-Belarusian border from the very beginning of the crisis. So definitely the report can be relied upon in analyzing data.
So now, the report itself, it of course gives us the overview of which country is guilty of how many pushbacks. It provides the general legal basis of what principles actually apply here. So let's focus on that first, because it also doesn't really talk about the Polish situation much. But in a general sense, is the principle of non-refoulement, i.e. you cannot send someone back to a country where their well-being might be at risk, is it an absolute principle in nature? How does it apply in a legal sense?
The principle of non-refoulement is strictly connected with the prohibition of torture and prohibition of the inhuman and degrading treatment. Because if you do send someone back to the country where their fundamental rights can be violated, you in fact take part in doing the harm to that person. That is why the non-refoulement principle, which prohibits sending migrants back, or in fact any people back to another country where their fundamental rights can be violated. This is an absolute principle because the prohibition of torture is an absolute principle.
So I understand that the problem here is that, for example, if a migrant arrives at the Polish border from Belarus, if we turn them away, we don't know where they really come from originally, like if they come from a country where they could be persecuted. And if we turn them away without the chance for them to explain the situation, we're contradicting that principle.
Yes, that is true. And on one hand, we do have a safety of a migrant, but on the other hand, we have a safety of the Polish states, or in fact, all states that take part in pushbacks. Because if you do not identify a person and you send the person back, it's almost certain that the person will be pushed back to Poland or to the EU state again. So you have a person who is not identified and who is going back and forth through the border, and it's really hard to see how that would be for the benefit of the safety of the Polish state, or in fact to other states as well.
But also, speaking of safety, the report doesn't actually talk much about this aspect, namely the hybrid warfare scenario. Like Lukashenko is sending migrants to the border. Often these people are lured. It might not be their fault really, because they are given promise of a quick and easy way into the European Union. So they arrive, the Belarusians are pushing them towards the border, saying no turning back now. How do we actually resolve this tragic issue? Because we have, on the one hand, the question of the safety of the state. On the other hand, the question of the well-being of the people arriving. So what would be the preferable solution here?
Firstly, we do talk about safety, but the migrants who arrived to Poland are not a threat to the Polish safety or security, contrary to what is said.
But is it possible to say all of them? I mean, there was an instance of stabbing at the border.
Yes,
so there are regrettably exceptions, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. I would like to mention the statement of the Polish government representative. Last week, there was a hearing in the European Court of Human Rights regarding pushbacks in Poland, Latvia and Lithuania. And the representative of the government of Poland said that the incidents, for example, the stabbing of the Polish soldier, they were not even done by the migrants crossing the border, but it's made with premeditation. And we should differentiate between the migrants who are in a very difficult position, and they should not be treated badly because they found themselves in the situation, because they are already the victims. And we should differentiate between the acts of violence who are performed by criminals, but we do have a penal code, we do have a criminal law that should be used for seeking to punishing the people who are in fact responsible for the acts.
Well, of course, but I mean, you cannot use collective liability for crimes, but what should be our response? Because should we allow all these people inside into some sort of processing centers, wouldn't that present another opportunity for Lukashenko to destabilize the situation, sending more and more people, overwhelming these centers? In short, should we actually expose ourselves willingly to this sort of abuse by countries such as Belarus or Russia?
If you look at the numbers, also in the report, you will see that Poland is not even mostly affected by the migration. We are, the Polish state, the Polish government is already introducing measures who are supposed to be exceptional. So the Polish government says that the situation already is very exceptional, but the numbers do not show that. There is a bigger migration to, for example, Italy, to Greece, to other countries who do not apply such very restrictive measures towards migrants. So I wouldn't say that the situation is so unexpected or it's such a great threat, and I cannot see how Lukashenko would. Maybe it is possible. The scenario that you asked about, maybe it's possible, but the first rule should be to treat those people with respect and in a humanitarian manner, and. We know that people arriving to Europe can be very well integrated in the country. Our societies would benefit from their presence. So we should probably stop considering them and perceiving them as a threat, but rather as an opportunity. And for everyone to be safe, we should concentrate on integration, welcoming those persons, those people to our societies, rather than expelling them and pushing them back.
Now, of course, I mean, some of those people are most interested in going further west into Europe, where they will integrate easily because there are greater communities of migrants there. That's another issue. You've mentioned the question of the court considering the case brought against Poland and Lithuania. What do you expect to happen next? Are there any indications which way it could go?
Well, sadly, there have already been judgments against Poland by the European Court of Human Rights, where the court already found that the pushbacks of Poland are a systematic practice as well, but the judgments considered border points in Terespol. Unfortunately, so we do have a history of judgments already in the European Court of Human Rights. But this time, the court will assess whether the pushbacks on the so-called green border are in line with the European Convention of Human Rights. We will know the answer in a few weeks or a few months. Hopefully, whatever the European Court of Human Rights says, hopefully the states will be cooperating also in ensuring that the judgment will be enforced in practice.
Maria Poszytek was our guest today here on TVP World. Thank you very much for joining us and for sharing your insight.
Thank you very much.
And I'm Jonasz Rewiński. You're watching TVP World. Please stay with us for more latest news and updates.